Welcome to Reviews That Scare with Jess and Blair. I'm Jess.
I'm Blair.
Blair, how are you?
I'm on the mend, buddy. How are you doing?
I'm also on the mend. We're getting through it.
Yeah, we are.
You and I both took a little bit of a beating this past month, really.
Yeah, the past few weeks for sure.
But man, oh man, November is just about through, and we're getting better.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious. Like I was saying, we've made it to the end of November, aka Prequels month. Holy, did this month move quickly?
It moved very quickly. And we weren't very punctual on our episode releases, but yeah, sorry guys, we've been, as we just said, both very sick.
Yeah, bear with us. We're trying to stay alive.
Yeah. Well put.
It does feel like just yesterday we were standing in line at Deadmonton's Lights Out event, which we'll get around to recording that episode sooner or later.
Yeah,
we'll chat about it. But today we are not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about our fourth and final film for the month of November, aka Prequels month. A fun one we watched, part of a great franchise. But before we chat about that, what do you say we chat a little bit about some horror news?
This is horror news.
Blairski, you got some news this week?
Just one thing, actually, a little quiet in the horror news. But surprise, we're getting a Popeye horror movie.
I saw that.
The trailer for the upcoming Popeye the Slayer, man, has dropped. And Jesse, I don't know if you've seen it yet. Have you?
I haven't, but I saw they released a Red Band trailer.
My God, it looks great in the cheesiest of ways. Up there with Winnie the Pooh. I cannot wait for it, man. I cannot wait for it. I hope it gets at least a day in theaters, and we are going to it.
Absolutely, 100%. And great name, Popeye the Slayer, man. That's
an
awesome
name, yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I'm all about that. Yeah. I've got two pieces of news here. We've seen some really cool popcorn buckets being released ahead of some cool movies recently.
Yeah.
We, of course, all know about the sandworm from Dune.
Yeah, of course.
But this one might be the coolest popcorn bucket of all. With the release of Robert Eggers' new film, Nosferatu, not sure if you've heard about that one, Blair. Of course, a movie we haven't talked about yet on the podcast, Strange. To be released December 25th, they will be releasing a popcorn bucket that looks like Nosferatu's sarcophagus.
Awesome. I hope we get something like that in Canada. I doubt it, but I hope so.
It's going to be great. You picked up a popcorn bucket when we went and saw Terrifier. Was it Terrifier 3?
No, it wasn't Terrifier 3. It was the movie we saw before that. I cannot remember what it was now. But it was a Pennywise popcorn bucket.
Yes.
It was very weird to be selling considering the last It movie was released 5 years ago now.
Did a couple leftovers.
Yeah.
Goodness
it's a super cool popcorn bucket, though.
Yeah. This one, however, might be even cooler. I mean, Nosferatu sarcophagus is pretty awesome. And not only that, but they also said that they will be releasing the film in 35 millimeter in select theaters. Very cool.
Awesome, man.
And guess what city that's happening in?
Here?
No, absolutely not. No, we'll have to settle with what they give us.
All right.
And then finally, sad news to report. Michael Villela, who played the slasher Russ Thorne in 1982's The Slumber Party Massacre.
Okay, good movie.
Passed away at 84. Of course, he was wielding, it was a power drill in that movie.
A really big power drill.
Absolutely, yeah. It's 84 years old. The Slumber Party Massacre was also, I believe, his film debut, which is really, really cool. Us at Review Set Scare salute you, Michael Villela.
Yes, we do.
Okay, let's chat about this week's episode. The fourth and final film in the month of November, aka Prequels month, goes to 2011's Paranormal Activity 3. Runtime on this one, 1 hour, 23 minutes. Blairski, runtime on this one, what do you think?
Well, you know what, Jesse? I actually watched the extended version.
You did?
I did indeed. But you know what? The extended version only runs 1 hour and 31 minutes. So either way, you're golden.
Almost 10 minutes.
Yeah, either way, it's a good runtime.
It's kind of cool. I'm going to lead into fun facts.
Fun facts. Facts that are fun.
One of our favorite segments. I'm going to actually just play off of what you said there. Obviously, the extended version. Most of the scenes used in the trailer did not actually appear in the movie. The production team said that they ended up having enough footage to make 2 full movies.
Crazy. Really?
Unreal, hey? Unreal. Yeah.
Really? Huh.
I've got 2 more pieces here. It's the highest grossing film in the franchise.
Okay. Okay.
And it was produced under the name Sports Camp. I don't know where that fits in.
That must have just been to keep it a secret or something like that. You know?
It had to have been Sports Camp. Doesn't fit. Okay. What do you have for fun facts?
Well, this movie is set 18 years before the first film.
Yeah.
This film broke financial records upon release, setting a new record for a midnight opening for a horror movie, which is $8 million.
Wow.
And best opening day for a horror film in the United States, $26.2 million in one day.
Are you serious? Wow.
Along with that, Paranormal Activity 3 grossed $104 million in the United States and Canada alone, along with $101 million in other countries, for a worldwide total, Jesse, of over $205 million. This is the highest grossing film in the entire franchise.
I didn't realize, and I would never have guessed watching it, that it was this successful.
No kidding.
Holy.
Kidding.
I mean, that being said, people love this franchise.
It is a good franchise. It's unique, that's for sure.
Let's not dive into likes and dislikes quite yet.
Yeah.
Instead, let's chat about the fine folks who worked on this film first. Directed by Henry Yost, also directed 2010's Catfish, 2012's Paranormal Activity 4, and 2020's Project Power. Blairski, did you ever watch Catfish on MTV?
I watched the show and I've seen the movie. Yeah.
Yeah, me too. This one also directed by Ari Schulman, directed 2012's Paranormal Activity 4, 2016's Nerve, and 2016's Viral. I think him and Henry Yost are a directing duo. They do pretty much everything together. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, written by Christopher Landon. Also wrote 2007's Disturbia, 2010's Paranormal Activity 2, Paranormal Activity The Marked Ones, 2019's Happy Death Day to You, and 2021's Paranormal Activity Next of Kin. And then, of course, Oren Peli, who created the franchise.
It's his baby. It's his baby.
He's, I think, had a hand on every single film in this franchise. Yeah. Okay, let's chat about the fine folks who starred in this film, starting off with Lauren Bittner as Julie, starred in 2007's Gardener of Eden, 2009's The Mighty Max, and 13 episodes of Heart of Dixie. Christopher Nicholas Smith as Dennis, starred in such TV shows as Curb Your Enthusiasm, American Dad, The Newsroom, Garfunkel and Oates, How I Met Your Mother, The Office, and 30 Rock. Chloe Sengri as Katie, I butchered that last name, my apologies, starred in Paranormal Activity The Marked Ones, Paranormal Activity The Ghost Dimension, and in episodes of Modern Family and The Good Doctor. And then Jessica Tyler Brown as Christy, starred in Paranormal Activity The Marked Ones, Paranormal Activity The Ghost Dimensions, Hot in Cleveland, and Days of Our Lives. Synopsis for 2011's Paranormal Activity 3, courtesy of our dear friends at IMDb. In 1988, young sisters Katie and Christy befriend an invisible entity called Toby, who resides in their home.
All right.
Okay. First of all, I don't know if Katie is much of a friend of Toby.
No, Katie definitely does not like Toby at all.
It's much more of a Christy thing. Yeah. And that is just such a surface level synopsis, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But let's not shit on it yet. Let's get to kill count first.
Kill count. The time of the show we count the kills.
Blairski, we got a kill count for Paranormal Activity 3.
Total kill count in this movie is 2.
Sure.
They're both at the end. Only one is on screen. Paranormal Activity movies are not there for the kill count.
No, it's all about the build up for the grand finale, which usually, yeah, like you were saying, consists of 1 or 2 people dying in this one. Yeah. Okay, let's jump into our next segment, likes and dislikes.
Likes, dislikes, likes, dislikes,
and everything in between. The portion of the show where we chat about what we liked, what we didn't like, and everything in between. Now, this is usually where we jump right into the kills. But instead of that, just because this movie relies so much on tension, it is more of a haunting movie. What did you think of? What did you think of the tension of this movie? What did you think of the setup of this?
I liked it. I liked the beginning, how it kind of throws in the original Christy and Katie from the first 2 movies.
Yeah, absolutely.
I really, really, really liked that.
Me too.
And then it kind of jumps to an old video cassette they find or whatever from back in the 80s, which is what you watch for the duration of the movie of Katie and Christy when they're younger.
Yeah.
So I really like how it starts off. The tension in this movie I felt was really good. It was certain scenes are definitely scarier than others.
Yeah,
for sure. What about you?
Yeah, this movie, I think, well, this movie, but this whole franchise, you got to really be patient with it.
Yeah, you do.
It's a slow burn, which is tough for a movie that's, an hour and a half. But once it gets going, it really gets going. Then it's one after another. But honestly, it takes about, I want to say 25 minutes to really get into, okay, something weird is happening here. 25, 30 minutes even.
The first time you really start seeing things happen is when the earthquake strikes. Which by the way, I was going to say that's an awesome scene. Yep. And it's probably one of my favorite actual cinematic shots in the movie when it has the dust from the ceiling falling on the entity.
Settling on Toby. It is so cool. I often come back to the scene in The Conjuring where the bed sheet is hanging on the clothesline and a gust of wind takes it off the clothesline. And for a second, it just kind of wraps around a form.
An entity. Exactly. Yeah.
And I got similar vibes with this one where it's nothing there. And then the earthquake happens and dust is scattered and you faintly see the shape of Toby. And I love it. It is such a cool shot.
You don't really notice it at first unless you really look or know to look there, that the dust is sitting there, but then Toby moves. And when he moves, the dust settles off and falls to the floor. That's when you really notice it.
It is so good. It is so good. All of the special effects in this one. And clearly, it focuses a lot on that, a lot on kind of the effects, practical effects, the jump scares. And I think it really, really works. I mean, there's really maybe only 5 or 6 scares, really good scares per movie in this franchise.
Yeah.
But when they do happen, you're waiting a while for it to happen. And when it does happen, it's pretty cool. There's another scene in the kitchen when the babysitter is over with the bed sheet.
Yeah.
And it just falls to the ground. I love it. I love that scene.
It's so cool. And even in that scene, the use of the camera on the fan.
Yeah.
A fan going back and forth so it covers the entire floor of the house. Really, really clever.
I was getting annoyed at it at the beginning.
Because it's slow
side
moving.
to side. And nothing happens. And nothing happens. But then you realize it's like, oh, wait. They're just building tension. They're building tension in such an unconventional way.
But I don't know if you noticed this, and I've seen this movie many times before. So, and I never noticed it until this watch, but that scene you just talked about with the bed sheet, that very first camera left to the zoom or camera to the left. I don't know if you noticed, but if you look in the reflection of the window, you can see the bed sheet coming down the stairs.
Oh, no way. I missed that. I'll have to go back and check that out because that is cool.
They're pretty cool, man.
I mean, there's so many great. That's great. I mean, the whole Bloody Mary scene with stuff just being tossed around. And then, of course, you always want a good kitchen scene in a paranormal activity movie. And one shot of, there's all this stuff in the kitchen, and then the camera comes back and there's nothing. And then for a split second, there's a beat of pure silence where Julie is, thinking,
Where
what
the
is
hell
going
is
on?
everything? Yeah.
And everything in that kitchen comes crashing down.
I love it. So good.
It's so good.
The setup for that scene must have taken forever, man.
And hopefully they only had to do it a handful of times.
Yeah, right.
The thing about these movies is it is kind of like Final Destination, I feel. Whereas if you see one, you kind of see them all.
Yeah, fair enough.
I mean, you watch this. I'm going to go back to Final Destination just because we just watched it. But obviously, in that movie, you watch it for the creative kills, and this one, you're watching it for the creative scares.
It's for the nights, because they always have like night 1, night 2, and that's what you're waiting for, is when the nighttime begins. Yeah.
Absolutely. I want to go back to the setup, but like you were saying, I really like the setup as well. I like kind of the nod to the sisters from the first and second one. I thought that was really, really cool. What I didn't really like, and maybe I missed it, but I mean, they mention the VHS tapes, but all of a sudden, boom, the VHS tapes start
playing. Yeah. Yeah.
So there's no kind of explanation of, are they watching it in the future, 18 years later?
Mm-hmm.
And I was hoping that at the end it would come full circle and they would be, it would come to a close, or one of them would go and turn the TV off or something like that.
The way I pick up on it is it shows us all the VHS tapes and boxes. But I think what we're seeing is the VHS that's actually in that recorder at the time, possibly, that he's beginning to record over top of the stuff from the 80s. I feel like that's what
gotcha. Oh, yeah. You know what? That makes sense. And I think that maybe is even mentioned to it.
I think so. Don't quote me on it, but that's what I'm thinking.
No, I would say that's probably valid. That's probably valid. Oh, my goodness. What else we had? I mean, I had mentioned already the slow start, but it's all about tension, people. It's all about tension.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't like the ending of this movie, Jesse. Can I say that right now? I do not like the ending of this movie.
The ending just kind of comes out of left field.
Yeah, it does.
It's just kind of, there's no buildup story-wise for that to happen. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I haven't seen all of the movies in the franchise, so it's not something I'm overly familiar with.
Yeah.
But it just comes out of nowhere.
Yeah, it does. And it just kind of, I don't know. It's almost like a totally different movie at that point. It goes from a haunting demon ghost movie to like a cult movie very quick.
A cult coven witch movie. Yeah. Which is fine on its own, but it makes you just kind of scratch your head a little bit.
A little bit, yeah. Although the one kill you do see on screen at the end of the movie is pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely. I gotta say, the acting in this, pretty good.
Pretty good.
I mean, with a found footage movie, all you can hope for is that the performance comes off as natural.
Mm-hmm.
And I must say, especially with the two kids, Katie and Christy, they were great, man.
Dennis and Randy were really good too. They had very good chemistry.
Absolutely. Julie was good. I thought the core 5, I would call them.
Yeah.
I thought they were all really, really good. They all had scenes together. They all had scenes individually. And the chemistry was there, 100%.
Yeah, I would agree.
Absolutely. It was a lot of fun. Anything else you really didn't like about this one or liked about this one or were kind of on the fence about?
Let's see. We've talked about the Bloody Mary scene. That was a really, really awesome scene. The babysitter scene.
Yep.
We talked about how this movie ties into the first 2 films. We talked a little bit about the ending. The effects were all good. We've covered everything I've written down, man.
I got one more thing here I almost forgot to mention. As somebody who loves movie soundtracks and who is constantly bringing up movie soundtracks, I love how quiet this movie is.
Well, yeah. I mean, as you would expect, it should be. It
Yeah.
should be quiet, right?
There should be no soundtrack. There should be, unless they're listening to music on a stereo or in the car or whatever. But I just love it. Just, again, adds to the tension. It makes it that much scarier.
Kind of throw you off if it's a found footage movie with the soundtrack,
Yeah, 100%. Okay, that's all I have. What do you say we move along to our next segment? Lessons we learned from watching 2011's Paranormal Activity 3.
Lessons we learned from watching. Insert title of movie here.
The segment of the show where we talk about the valuable life lessons we learned from watching said movie. Blairski.
Yeah, buddy.
Did you learn anything?
Just a couple of things. First off, don't ever, under any circumstances, play Bloody Mary.
Don't do it.
It's no different than playing with a Ouija board. The outcome will always be bad, so just don't do it.
Yeah.
Finally, I realized that the worst time for a catastrophic event, such as an earthquake, is right after you smoke a joint. Or if you're like high or drunk. I couldn't even imagine.
Is this really happening?
Yeah, something like an earthquake right after I smoked a joint.
Yeah.
I cannot imagine.
I got a couple here. If you are, I know that Blair just got finished saying don't play Bloody Mary.
Yeah, don't.
But for those of you who have never played it, I've certainly played it before.
Have you? I have not.
Bloody Mary is when you go into the bathroom and say Bloody Mary 3 times and you see a ghost or you don't see a ghost.
Behind you, right? Or something like that?
Yeah.
And you
I've never
seen
seen. No. That's okay. I also learned don't mess with covens.
No.
Don't do it.
No.
I also learned don't run the carburetor at 1 a.m. if the rest of your family is sleeping. How inconsiderate, Julie. Goodness gracious. And then finally, kids are susceptible to spiritual contact.
Yep.
More so than adults, I guess.
So they say. So they say. Okay, that's all I learned. Let's move right along to our next segment of the show, Line of the Night.
Line of the night. Line of the night. Line of the night. Line of the night. Line of the night. Line of the night. Line of the night. Line of the night. Line of the night.
The segment of the show where we discuss our favorite lines from the movie. They might give us chills. They might give us the giggles. All we know is that they are our favorites. Blairski, what do you got for line of the night?
Well, mine all just consist of conversation between Randy and Dennis. The first one, Randy to Dennis says, "This isn't Casper, the fucking friendly ghost we're chasing, man."
Yeah.
Which I thought was hilarious. The next one's kind of like a segment of dialogue. So I'm going to read it off. Dennis starts. Dennis to Randy and Randy to Dennis. Dennis starts, "This is the job, man. I got 2 cameras, 6 hours each, 12 hours. Randy replies, 12 hours of footage? Dennis replies, "Yeah, got to do it, man. I'm seriously going to review it." Randy says, "Of footage every day?" Dennis says, "Yes, no, please, I'm trying to concentrate." Randy says, "That's so stupid. There's only 24 hours in a day, Dennis." Can you imagine?
Which he's not, he's not wrong.
He's not wrong. And you'd be reviewing footage 24/7.
And it's not even like you could speed it up.
No.
I mean, you're looking for anything out of the ordinary. Man, oh man.
If I was Dennis, though, I probably would just kind of stick to the nighttime periods.
Just the nighttime, please, Dennis.
I think so.
Yeah, absolutely. I got a couple line of the nights here, both from Christy and both to Toby. First, she says, no, I don't want to talk to you anymore. That's when things get a little bit ugly.
Yeah, well, because Christy, to that point, didn't really mind Toby too much. She was scared of him a little bit, but
they were getting along fine. Yeah. And then I believe this is the last line of the movie when Christy says, "Come on, Toby," as they're walking upstairs.
Mm-hmm.
Man, oh man, oh man, oh man.
Creepy, man.
Creepy, very creepy. Yeah. Okay, this leads us to our final segment of the show. Some might even go as far as saying it's one of our favorites.
Yeah, probably up there.
Probably. I would consider it.
That's going to be
Celebrity Lookalike Time.
Celebrity Lookalike Time.
The time of the show where we take a look at the cast and discuss their celebrity doppelgangers. Spoiler alert, it usually comes down to the character's hairstyle. Blairski, what do you got for Celebrity Lookalike Time?
Only one for this movie, and it's Katie's sister Christy, but adult Christy, who we only see at the beginning of the movie. She reminds me of Reese Witherspoon, like a brunette Reese Witherspoon.
Okay.
100%.
Okay, I can see it. I've also only got one. The character Dennis reminded me of a songbird of our generation, Mr. Josh Groban.
Okay.
You raised me up so I can stand on mountains. The one and only. It's the curly hair. It's the beard. It's the voice.
The voice.
Maybe not the voice.
Not the voice.
Okay, this leads us to our final rating for 2011's Paranormal Activity 3, Blairski.
Yeah, buddy.
Out of 5 rounds of Bloody Mary gone very, very wrong or very, very right, depending on how you look at it, what are you giving Paranormal Activity 3?
I've just got to give this one 3.5 rounds of Bloody Mary gone very, very wrong or very, very right, depending on how you look at it. Out of 5. I've seen this movie so many times. I keep going back to it. It's a comfort watch for me, to be honest. And it's a good movie.
Yeah, I am somebody who is never really disappointed by a Paranormal Activity movie. Mm-hmm. I love a good haunting movie, and I love a good found footage movie.
Yeah, totally.
So I'm going to give it 3 rounds of Bloody Mary gone very, very wrong or very, very right, depending on how you look at it, out of 5. This is a fun movie.
Yeah.
It's another cool installment in a pretty cool franchise.
I totally agree. And apparently, Jesse, there's one in the works. There's a new one coming.
I'm not surprised. I think there's already like 8 out, but bring it on.
I think the number's 6 at the moment. I think
6. Okay. Yeah. So not quite 8, but 6. Yeah. This was a great month. This was a fun theme. We're trying to figure out what theme to do for December. Maybe something a little bit festive. We're running out of festive movies, but we'll think of something.
We'll figure it out.
But until then, this has been Reviews That Scare with Jess and Blair. I'm Jess.
I'm Blair. Remember to stay scary.
And eat every sandwich. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Thank you for listening to Reviews That Scare. Make sure you check out our Linktree at linktree/reviewsatScare. That's linktr.ee/reviewsatScare, which has links to our Instagram, YouTube, Patreon, Twitch, and many other things. If you'd like to email us, you can reach us at reviewsatscare@gmail.com. Thanks for listening, and remember to stay scary and eat every sandwich.